Ladies and gentlemen, I live in Western Australia, but I come from New Zealand. I've lived in Australia for 40 years, which is the exact age of Touch for Health.
Dice que, señora y señora, llevo viviendo 40 años lleva trabajando 40 años con, igual que el tiempo que lleva Touch for Health funcionando, y vive en Australia, aunque procede de Nueva Zelanda.
So this morning when Amy spoke to us about doing some housekeeping after 40 years, it was something that really resonated in my heart, was that the need to work within ourselves to make sure that we don't accomplish that or hold on to that which we don't need anymore.
You have to say...
Yeah, say it.
I'm not going to be able to. I can't remember.
Can't remember? Okay.
I'm nervous, so could you just say it in shorter?
Do you want a chair?
No, it's okay, but if you could say it in shorter.
Sure. Okay. One of the things that I look at often in life is the story of our life and the story of ourself.
Una cosa que miro es la historia de nuestra vida y la historia de nosotros mismos.
And as you sit there today and as listen to the previous speaker, what were the thoughts that went through your mind as the story of your life?
¿Qué fue rondando por tu cabeza cuando estaba escuchando al anterior ponente?
The story of your life not only comes from today, but it comes from the generations that traveled before you.
La historia de tu vida no viene solamente del día de hoy, sino también de todas las generaciones anteriores a ti.
I was born in the north of the South Island of New Zealand.
Nació en el norte de la isla de Nueva Zelanda.
And the first 6 weeks of my life
Los primeros 6 semanas de su vida
was spent in the local hospital, in Nelson Hospital.
estuvo en el hospital de allí, local.
The years rolled along. I was brought up by different families.
Los años pasaron y creció.
I was raised by different families.
Estuvo con distintas familias.
And as a young woman, I discovered I have 2 sisters.
Y después ya como una chica joven descubrió que tenía 2 hermanas.
And to look at the DNA imprints and the similarities of these 2 lives.
Viendo las imprentas de DNA y de estas vidas.
And to look into the window of my own life.
Y mirando hacia la ventana de mi propia vida.
And to see and realize the similarities that the DNA affords each one of us.
Y viendo la similaridad que hay con el DNA de cada uno de ellas.
Years later, when I studied psychology,
años después, cuando estudié psicología,
we learned in our psychology class how that families learn from each other.
Aprendí en las clases de psicología cómo las familias aprenden las unas de las otras.
And yet my sisters and I have distinct similarities.
Mis hermanas y yo teníamos similaridades muy parecidas.
That we did not learn from each other as children.
No aprendimos, sin embargo, juntas de niñas.
We were brought up in 3 separate families, no contact with each other.
Estuvimos en 3 familias distintas, sin contacto entre nosotras.
So I look at the lives of these 3 ladies and how that they've all taken leadership roles in their life.
Así que miro la vida de estas chicas y cómo han llevado su vida.
And in the world that I work in now, I often find people who are saying, I'm looking for my purpose, for my reason to be.
Y ahora en el trabajo que realizo veo a personas que se preguntan, quieren saber el propósito de su vida.
Friends, we don't have to look for our purpose. We don't have to look for our reason to be. We do not have to look at the reason that we're on the earth.
No tenemos que buscar nuestro propósito, nuestra razón de ser, el por qué estamos en esta vida, en la Tierra.
Deep within your DNA, you know why you're here.
Muy profundamente en el DNA, tú sabes por qué estás aquí.
There's parts of our upbringing, parts of the education system that we came through, the political system we came through, maybe the religious system that gave us ideas that we don't really know our purpose, but we do.
I've got lost there, I'm sorry. I got lost there.
The education system, the political system.
El sistema educacional, el político, todos esos. Or what do they do?
That we came through, that we feel that we don't understand what we're here for.
Hacen que nos sientan, que nos sepamos para lo que hemos venido.
Folks, we have wonderful examples in nature.
Tenemos unos ejemplos tremendos en la naturaleza.
From New Zealand, there's a little bird, and it's called the godwit.
Hay un pajarito pequeño en Nueva Zelanda que se llama el godwit.
You know that bar-tailed godwit? It will travel for 10,200 kilometers without stopping.
Que viaja 10.200 kilómetros sin parar y es pequeñito.
And it's not on an aircraft.
Y no está encima de un avión o dentro de un avión.
There with its own little wings and its own determination.
Con su determinación propia y sus alas.
Its own inner knowing.
Su conocimiento interno.
That bird must fly from the South Pacific right up into the Northern Hemisphere so that it can fulfill its purpose of life.
Que viaja del sur Pacífico hasta el hemisferio norte para realizar su propósito en la vida.
There are many, many birds and many, many examples in nature.
Hay muchos pájaros y ejemplos en la naturaleza.
That tell us clearly that all we need to do is to tap into our own truth and our own knowing.
Que nos dice que
to access.
Que nos dicen cómo tener acceso a nuestro propio conocimiento.
So what is it that stops us?
¿Qué es lo que nos para?
You know, if nature that has no written word, that has no libraries.
En la naturaleza no hay palabra escrita, no hay bibliotecas.
Nature has no Google.
No tiene Google.
And yet it knows exactly what it must do for the survival of the species.
Pero sabe exactamente lo que tiene que hacer para la supervivencia de la especie.
And for its purpose on the earth.
Y su propósito sobre la tierra.
To have the ability to tap into our knowing, to clear away the clouds and the beliefs that we don't know, will help us to be more significant than what we are already.
You have to go a bit slower in chunks, please, because I get lost.
Keep going. Keep going.
But I don't know what to say now. Para poder tener la habilidad para llegar al conocimiento. What else did you say? The knowing and what else? Perdonadme es que yo tengo que ser en trocitos, me pierdo. Perdonadme.
I don't know where you're at.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Could you say that again, please? Could you repeat that part again?
Sure.
In chunks, please.
Sure. I had this wonderful interpreter who was really afraid of coming on stage.
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Okay, tengo un intérprete que tenía un miedo tremendo a subir aquí arriba y lo está haciendo bastante bien.
She wanted to sit down with you.
Quería sentarse ahí con vosotros.
From tapping into our inner knowing.
¿Qué es lo que nos para de entrar dentro de nuestro conocimiento interno?
Do you know?
¿Lo sabes?
I believe each one of us knows what it is that we're here on the earth to do.
Yo creo que todos y cada uno de nosotros sabemos por qué estamos aquí en la Tierra y lo que tenemos que hacer.
For so many years, I would say, I'm here to make a difference.
Ya no lo entendí. Tantos años, yo pensaba que yo tenía que estar ahí para hacer algo.
Is there anyone else here that is here to make a difference?
¿Hay alguien más que está aquí para hacer algo diferente?
And can someone tell me what that means?
¿Y alguien me puede decir qué es? ¿Qué significa eso?
What does that truly mean? Yes.
¿Qué realmente significa?
And what does that mean?
Ir hacia tu propio destino. ¿Y qué significa eso?
To find your own destiny. But what does that really mean?
Encontrar tu propio destino, ¿qué significa eso?
To be yourself. And
Ser
what
tú
does that?
mismo.
And what does that really mean? You know, when we go back to nature, it's about the survival of the species. But we on Earth have been given another intelligence.
¿Pero qué significa eso? Nosotros sobre la Tierra estamos...
And there it is.
No, se me va.
We can find it. It's locked in our brainwave pattern. And it's locked in our cellular memory.
No está en nuestro patrón, en nuestra onda cerebral, en el patrón de nuestra onda cerebral, sino que está dentro de nuestro ADN.
Most of our days, we're working our lives in the high beta.
La mayoría de los días estamos trabajando en beta alta
In the high beta brainwave pattern.
y el patrón de onda cerebral beta alta.
It's a hertz, it's a frequency of between 21 and 33 brainwave cycles per second.
Va de 21 a 23 hertz por segundo en el patrón de onda cerebral.
And there we are racing around, doing our purpose, but controlled by deadlines.
Estamos por ahí corriendo, tratando de hacer nuestros deberes.
We're highly alert,
Altamente alertas
and in our mind, we're highly intelligent.
y en nuestra mente somos altamente inteligentes.
Then we decide that it's time that we get out of that executive stress and we come down into a more focused situation where there's not so much anxiety.
Entonces llega un momento que queremos salir de ese estrés de ejecutivo.
And here we are, we're alert, we're focused, but we want power and we want control.
Y aquí estamos alertas, centrados y queremos poder.
We're not really tapping into our own intuition.
No estamos entrando, centrándonos, poniéndonos en contacto con nuestra propia intuición.
But we move, we learn how to breathe. We hear a speaker speak to us and says, breathe and come into your own body.
Cuando nos movemos, estamos aprendiendo cómo movernos.
And we move into the alpha brainwave pattern of between 7 and 14 brainwave cycles per second.
Entonces nos estamos moviendo en el patrón de onda cerebral de 14 segundos.
And there we begin to create, to tap into our creative energy.
Entonces empezamos a crear, entrar dentro de nuestra energía interna.
From there, we realize that if we could just bring both of our hemispheres together, as into the theta brainwave pattern, we would become more whole, which is what Paul Dennison was speaking to us about this morning.
Desde ahí entonces nos damos cuenta que podemos unificar los dos hemisferios, que es lo que Paul Dennison hoy ha estado diciéndonos sobre coordinarlos. esta mañana es lo que ha dicho Paul Denison.
And in the theta brainwave pattern, which is between 4 and 7 brainwave cycles per second,
En el patrón de onda cerebral entre 4 y 7,
it was here that we learn new concepts and we begin to tap into that which we already know.
aprendemos nuevos conceptos y a llegar a conectar con cosas que sabemos.
It is then that we realise that we don't have to try so hard about making a difference.
Entonces, cuando nos damos cuenta que no tenemos que intentar tan duramente de ser diferentes.
It's here in this brainwave pattern that you begin to feel the love and the intimacy and the belonging, the part that really is deep within yourself.
En este patrón de onda cerebral es cuando ya notas el amor, el pertenecer, que ahí está dentro de nosotros.
And it is in this theta brainwave pattern where you begin changing behaviours.
Es aquí en Theta, en este patrón de onda cerebral, donde empezamos a hacer cambios.
Many of you, and myself included, for so many years we've said, I want to make a difference.
Muchos de vosotros y yo también durante muchos años hemos dicho que quiero ser diferente.
And when we begin bringing both of the hemispheres of the brain together and our knowing from all parts of our body,
y cuando entonces ya unimos los dos hemisferios
and the knowing from all parts of our body, then it is that we realise that we don't have to work at making a difference. We are the difference.
Ya nos damos cuenta que no tenemos que ser diferentes, sino que nosotros somos.
I was given an opportunity. For 6 years I worked with a medical team working specifically with cancer patients.
Estuvo trabajando durante 6 años con un equipo médico sobre temas de problemas de cáncer, pacientes con cáncer.
And in working with the cancer patients, it was those patients who learned how to go from the high beta.
Y esos pacientes fueron los que aprendieron a ir desde beta alta
into the beta, alpha, theta,
al beta, alfa y beta,
and then into the delta, that they were able to change cellular memory.
Y ahí en delta fue donde ya pudieron cambiar la memoria celular.
You see, it is hidden in the cellular memory.
Es ahí donde está escondido,
where so many beliefs hold us back and hold us stuck.
Donde muchas creencias nos bloquean y nos tienen ahí atrapados.
Mm-hmm. So if we could change,
si pudiéramos cambiar
some simple beliefs and ideas that have been stored in the cellular memory.
Creencias simples, ideas simples que están ahí en nuestra memoria celular almacenadas.
Your life will change forever.
Tu vida cambiará para siempre.
Forever.
Para siempre.
Thank you.
That was for you.
Sorry?
That
was for you.
No. You're doing really good.
I'm trying.
I don't know if there's anybody here today
No sé si hay alguien aquí
who would like to have an experience here with me.
que quiera tener una experiencia conmigo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Now she's getting dressed up for you.
Ahora se está vistiendo, poniendo guapa para vosotros.
Mm-hmm. Your name?
Elisa.
I have Elisa.
Tenemos a Elisa.
Oh, Elisa. Beautiful.
Española.
What I would like to do is to demonstrate a small part of the protocol that I use in transforming DNA memories.
Voy a enseñar una pequeña parte del protocolo que utilizo para,
Is that all right with you?
para la memoria, para transformar la memoria de ADN.
The program is a 4-day program,
Es un programa de 4 días.
and I'd love to bring it to your country.
Me gustaría traerlo a tu país, a vuestro país, perdón.
And if your country is a country where I haven't been before, and if it just feels and fits right, you can be very sure that my husband would accompany me on a holiday.
Es un país que no he estado nunca y se encuentra cómoda en él, y entonces pues su marido también vendría de ella de vacaciones.
And now I've set her to work.
Ahora la siento a ella para que trabaje.
Just put it this way.
Muy gracias.
Beautiful. Yes, and stand up. That's very good. To make this simple, I just have 3 questions that I will ask today.
Para hacerlo sencillo solamente le voy a preguntar hacerle 3 preguntas sencillas.
And perhaps one of those questions will have a significance for the work that we can just do in the short time that we have.
Y quizás una de las preguntas marcará un significado para ella en el poco tiempo que tenemos.
Come a wee bit closer. Thanks. And so I'm just going to do a simple muscle test because this conference is about kinesiology.
Como esta conferencia es sobre kinesiología, hay que hacer el test muscular.
Hold tight. And Alicia is talking to me. Can you say these words out loud?
¿Puedes,
I,
¿no? ¿Sí? ¿Puedes decir estas palabras en voz alta?
I yearn to intimately touch the innermost part of my being.
I yearn to intimately touch.
Yearn.
I yearn to intimately touch the innermost part of my being.
There was no change of indicator there, which tells me that we're not working with that one today.
No ha habido cambio, por lo tanto no vamos a trabajar con este.
This one, I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world. Yeah.
No.
You are the right person here today.
The wrong?
Right.
The right.
Eres la persona adecuada para el día de hoy.
We'll now look for the percentage of yearning.
I now look for the percentage of yearning.
So it's more than 10%, 20, 30,
Está buscando
40,
el porcentaje
50,
de
60,
ansiedad.
70, 80, 75, 76, 77. 77% yearning to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
Hay un 77% de deseo de que haya una unión entre significado y materia en el mundo.
That's a very high percentage of yearning.
Es muy alto,
It's like she really wants this.
o sea que ella realmente quiere esto.
As you'll see in the conference journal, there are some keys to clearing, and I'm just going to identify one of those keys for Elisa.
En el artículo que tenemos, entonces hay unas claves y entonces ella va ahora a trabajar con ellas.
Abandoned, burdened, conciliatory, creating dreams, dyslexia, excessive, fear of loss, hurt, inadequate, lack of courage, learning new concepts, manipulation, narrow thinking, perfection, pleasure and pain, pride, self-punishing. Self-punishing.
Autocastigo.
I will check whether it's self-punishing or self-criticism.
Voy a mirar.
Self-punishing, self-criticism. Self-criticism.
ha comprobado si era autocrítica o autocastigo y sale autocrítica.
This is the emotion involved.
Esta es la emoción. Esta es la emoción implicada en el tema.
It's the emotion involved with the yearning to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
Para encontrar la unión entre significado y materia en mi vida y en el mundo.
And so now we'll have a look and see when this self-criticism was established.
Ahora vamos a buscar cuándo comenzó esta autocrítica.
So in this time, okay, so we're going back to childhood, from childhood through to infancy, infancy through to birth, birth through to conception. Now I will look at maternal or paternal, so it's the father's side of the family, paternal.
Ha surgido que es el lado del padre, la parte paternal.
Where are you from?
Spain, Barcelona.
Oh, good. And so now, on her paternal side of the family, we're looking at male and female. So it's the mother's side, but down the paternal line, but it's the mother's side.
Está en el lado paternal, pero por parte de la madre.
How many generations?
¿Cuántas
1,
generaciones?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Are you talking to me? 12, 13, 14, 15 generations.
15 generaciones.
It's a cellular memory that's been there for a long time. And folks, if you were doing normal muscle, basic touch for health here, you may miss this point.
Si estás haciendo Touch for Health, quizás pierdas este punto de vista
You may miss the point of the 15 generations.
de las 15 generaciones.
You clear the self-criticism at those 15 generations.
Limpias, liberas esa autocrítica de las 15 generaciones.
And unless Alicia makes a decision in the future to invite that self-criticism back again, she can clear it forever this afternoon.
Si ella invita a esta autocrítica a que vuelva de nuevo a su vida, entonces podrá limpiarlo.
But understand that some patterns have belonged to us for a long time.
Muchos patrones han estado con nosotros mucho tiempo.
And we may lose an old friend, and today that old friend could be self-criticism.
Y podemos perder un antiguo amigo y hoy puede ser esa autocrítica.
So I wonder how willing Elisa is to let go of self-criticism, because it's been a part of her life for 15 generations before her birth. How willing is she to let go of it today?
Me pregunto entonces si ella está dispuesta a coger y perder esta autocrítica que ha durado durante 15 generaciones. Vamos a ver cuánto.
So, percentage of willingness is more than 20%, it's more than 50, 60, 70, it's 80%, it's 90%, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. She's ready to do it, 100%.
Está
She's
preparada, 100%.
She's ready to clear. She has the willingness to clear.
Está
But is
preparada. Perdón.
But is Alicia really determined to let go of self-criticism?
Pero está preparada para liberarse del tema, pero está realmente dispuesta, tiene determinación para ello.
Folks, I'm a hard teacher because I tricked myself for too many years. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else.
Yo soy profesora dura porque me he engañado a mí misma durante muchos años.
I had many balances and work from good people. And sometimes I just went out and I continued negative behavior.
Tuve muchas equilibraciones que me hicieron, y sí, pero aún así salí y seguí haciendo lo mismo.
And as practitioners, I don't want your clients to walk out of a consultation with you or out of your class and say the protocol didn't work.
Y como terapeutas no quiero que los pacientes, los clientes salgan y digan a la calle y digan que el protocolo no ha funcionado.
Because the protocol does work if you create the right environment.
Porque sí que funciona si tú creas el adecuado medio ambiente.
So we know that today Alicia is 100% willing to let go of self-criticism. What percentage of determination is she prepared to have?
Aunque Elisa está dispuesta, vamos a ver cuánta determinación hay en ello.
More than 10%? More than 20%? More than 50%? 60%? 65%? 60%? 61%?
61%.
Only 61%.
Solamente.
Folks, I don't have to be a mathematician to work out that that's a little short of 100%.
No tengo que ser un matemático para saber que no llega al 100%.
And if I was to work with my client and only 61% determination to let go of self-criticism, the next challenge that comes along, she would be saying, I'm not good enough. I knew that this would happen. I always fail. I don't get good grades. I've got another dent in my motor vehicle. I can't be 100% well and whole.
Ya que ha salido solamente un 61%, pues la persona dirá que yo no puedo, no soy suficiente.
I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
Yo deseo encontrar este significado de materia, unión entre materia y significado en el mundo y en mí.
What do you need to be 100% determined to allow this to happen?
¿Qué necesitas para estar al 100%?
Okay. Do you want me to say it?
Just say out loud, wanting love,
Wanting love,
needing to belong,
needing to belong,
feeling unloved,
feeling unloved,
learning to be included,
learning to be included,
learning to love again.
learning to love again.
Learning to love again, particularly oneself.
This one. Learning to
Lo último que ha dicho es aprendiendo a amarse.
Learning to love again, particularly oneself.
Aprendiendo a amar de nuevo, especialmente a uno mismo.
We thought the emotion was self-criticism, and it is.
Creíamos que la emoción era autocrítica y lo es.
But there's something deeper here,
Pero hay algo mucho más profundo
and it's about learning to love again, particularly her own self.
y es aprender a amar de nuevo, especialmente a sí misma.
So when did she check out on loving her own self?
Así que cuando paró de amarse a sí misma,
Not this lifetime, but 15 generations ago.
no en esta vida, sino hace 15 generaciones.
So in her paternal grandmother's line,
Así que en la línea paternal, su abuela,
she has
por parte de su abuela, perdón,
she has brought a story with her.
ha traído una historia con ella.
Remember a little while ago I told you about the birds that migrate? They fly from New Zealand all the way up to the northern hemisphere and they go back again.
¿Recuerdas la historia que os dije de los pájaros, las aves que van desde Nueva Zelanda hacia el hemisferio norte y vuelven de nuevo?
They're coded to do that.
Había un código ahí
In their DNA, they have a story. That's what they must do for the survival of their species.
Que tienen en el DNA para la supervivencia de la especie.
Here with Alicia, we have a story. It's right ingrained inside.
Aquí tenemos, con Alicia, tenemos la historia que está imprenta en ella,
And it's about wanting love.
y es de querer amor.
And every time that she feels that inner knowing,
Y cada vez que ella siente ese conocimiento interno,
just like those birds that have to fly to the northern hemisphere and then back to the southern hemisphere,
igual que esas aves que van del norte al sur hemisferio,
Alicia feels a calling, but she feels there's something missing and she just can't fulfill the calling.
ella nota una llamada, pero nota que no puede realizarla.
So today, together, all of us, I will lead you through an exercise. So if you put your pen down, put your feet flat on the floor, hands free, close your eyes.
Vale, vamos a hacer ahora un ejercicio. Vais a poner las plantas de los pies en el suelo, dejad los bolígrafos, las manos, cierra los ojos, las manos puestas en el regazo.
Just close your eyes
Cierra los ojos
and listen to your breathing.
y escucha tu respiración.
Effectively, the greatest change happens in the slow, rhythmic, pre-post birth delta energy.
Con eficacia, el cambio ocurre, la energía delta.
Just breathe and relax.
Adéntrate en la energía delta, respira y relaja.
And quietly repeat the following words to your inner self.
Y repite silenciosamente las siguientes palabras a tu interior.
I intimately touch the innermost parts of my being.
Íntimamente toco las partes más internas de mi ser.
I intimately touch the innermost part of my being.
Íntimamente toco la parte más íntima de mi ser.
I know the marriage of meaning and matter in my life.
Conozco la unión de significado y materia en mi vida.
I know the marriage of meaning and matter in my life.
Conozco la unión de significado y materia en mi vida.
I feel and express the flame of being fully alive.
Siento y expreso la llama de estar vivo.
I feel and express the flame of being fully alive.
Siento y expreso la llama de estar completamente vivo.
Whispering into the innermost part of yourself.
Susurrando en la parte más íntima de ti.
I intimately touch the innermost part of my being.
Íntimamente toco la parte más íntima de mi ser.
I love myself.
Me amo,
I love myself.
me amo.
I embrace all of me.
Abrazo todo mi ser.
I heal my body and my spirit.
Sano mi cuerpo y mi espíritu.
I love myself.
Me amo.
I embrace all of me.
Abrazo todo mi ser.
I heal my body and my spirit.
Sano mi cuerpo y mi espíritu.
Breathing deep into your cellular memory.
Respira profundamente dentro de tu memoria celular.
I am the joy of being fully alive.
Soy la alegría de estar completamente vivo.
I am the joy of being fully alive.
Soy la alegría de estar completamente vivo.
Imagine yourself floating on a delicate thread of love.
Imagínate flotando en un hilo de amor.
Floating on a delicate thread of love.
Flotando en un hilo de amor muy delicado.
I embrace those parts of me that until this moment were misunderstood.
Abrazo todas las partes de mi persona que antes no comprendía.
I embrace those parts of my life that until this moment were misunderstood and forsaken.
Abrazo todas las partes de mi vida que no eran comprendidas.
Connected to wisdom, I trust myself.
Conectado a la sabiduría, confío en mí mismo.
Connected to wisdom, I trust myself.
Conectado con la sabiduría, confío en mí mismo.
I allow myself to embrace all of me.
Me permito abrazarme completamente, todo mí.
I allow myself to embrace all of me.
Me permito abrazar todo mi ser.
Imagine for a moment you, the newborn babe.
Imagínate por un momento tú, el recién nacido.
Imagine you, the newborn babe, in the palm of your hand.
Imagínate tú, el recién nacido, en la palma de tu mano.
Perfect in every way.
Totalmente perfecto.
Whispering to your own self,
Susurrándote a ti mismo.
I delight in supporting all of me. I delight in supporting all of me.
Me alegro en apoyarme todo mi ser. Me alegro en apoyarme todo mi ser.
Imagine floating in a pool of affection.
Imagínate flotando en un lugar lleno completamente de afecto.
actually floating in a pool of affection.
realmente flotando en afecto total.
Feel your whole and complete precious self
Siente todo tu ser, tu precioso ser,
right here in the palm of your hand.
en la palma de tu mano.
You are the miracle of life.
Eres el milagro de la vida.
You belong.
Perteneces.
All of you belongs.
Todo de ti pertenece.
From your own wisdom self,
Desde tu sabiduría
you hear these words.
oyes estas palabras.
I love you.
Te quiero, te amo.
We belong together.
Pertenecemos juntos.
I know my purpose.
Sé cuál es mi propósito.
I know my truth.
Sé cuál es mi verdad.
I am a miracle of life.
Soy un milagro de la vida.
Breathe and relax.
Respira y relaja.
In the presence of today,
En la presencia de hoy,
remember,
recuerda,
life isn't so much about finding yourself.
la vida no es tanto el encontrarte.
Life is about enriching your experience of living.
Es realmente enriquecer tu experiencia de vivir.
From that little babe in the palm of your hand,
Desde ese pequeño bebé en la palma de tu mano,
take that energy and put it in your heart where you belong.
coge esa energía y ponla en el corazón donde tú perteneces.
Loving and accepting your whole self.
Amando y aceptando todo tu ser.
Imagine floating on a thread of affection,
Imagínate flotando en un hilo de afecto.
and on that thread of affection coming right back here into the room.
Y ese hilo de afecto entrando de nuevo en la habitación donde estamos.
With Elisa, those 15 generations coming right back through here to this room.
Con Elisa, 15 generaciones volviendo de nuevo a esta sala.
Willing to trust love again.
Con voluntad para volver a amar. Confiar en amor.
And when you're ready, you take a deep breath.
Cuando estés preparado, toma una respiración profunda
And feel that breath coming right from the soles of your feet all the way up to your consciousness.
y siente como esa respiración va desde la planta de los pies arriba hacia tu conciencia.
Take your time, and when you're ready, open your eyes.
Toma tu tiempo y cuando estés preparado, abre los ojos.
Just out loud, can you say, I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
Wow, that's nice and strong.
Está muy fuerte.
We had some self-criticism.
Self-criticism.
Not now. Learning to love again, particularly oneself.
Learning to love again, particularly oneself.
We need 100% determination on that.
I have 100% determination of that.
Yeah. He's saw it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. You're precious. How was that for you?
¿Qué tal ha sido para vosotros?
Thank you. Thank you. I teach this program over 4 days.
Enseño este programa durante 4 días.
And today we just was in the short time that we had together. I could just do a little bit to give you a demonstration of some of the depth of the work that transforming DNA memories will take you into.
Ahora solamente he hecho una pequeña parte para demostrarle a vosotros, con el poco tiempo que hay, cómo funciona el transformar las memorias de ADN.
I want to specifically thank my interpreter today.
Quiero darle las gracias a mi intérprete hoy and the interpreter thanks you.
She has not done this before and she was very nervous this morning.
La primera vez que lo hace y estaba muy nerviosa hoy.
And it was wonderful for us to work together.
Ha sido maravilloso trabajar las dos juntas.
I see that I have a question.
Tengo una pregunta. Pregunta si hay una diferencia entre memoria celular y memoria de ADN.
The question was, do I make a difference between DNA memory and cellular memory? The cells we have within us, and within those cells is the DNA memory. So on one level we work on the cellular memory, and that will often take us 2 or 3 generations. When we go to the slower brainwave pattern of the delta, and you may have noticed when I did that demonstration, I spoke very slowly, and that was I took you through from the high beta to the beta, alpha, theta, and then I spoke very slowly, and that was to take the group into the delta level. I actually, with the program, I share with you a metronome sound that can help you when you're in your individual work with your clients. Does that answer your question?
Más o menos lo que ha dicho es que dentro de las células pues está el ADN y realmente la memoria está ahí. Entonces lo que ha hecho es, con el ejercicio que hemos hecho, es llevarnos al estadio delta para ahí pues trabajar la situación.
Last question. Thank you.
What have been the 3 questions that you've asked? Because I didn't translate them. What were the 3 questions that you asked?
Oh, I only asked 2.
Solamente preguntó 2.
I had 3 questions prepared and I asked 2 questions. So for those of you who are taking notes, the first question was,
La primera pregunta es,
I yearn to intimately touch the innermost part of my being.
Deseo tocar la parte más íntima de mi ser.
The second question, I yearn to find the marriage of meaning and matter in my life and in the world.
Deseo encontrar la unión de significado y materia en mí y en el mundo.
And the third question, you'll have to come and do my course. No.
La tercera, tienes que venir a hacer mi curso para que te la diga. No.
The third question, I yearn to feel and express the flame of being fully alive.
Deseo sentir. Can you repeat it?
I yearn to feel and express the flame of being fully alive.
Deseo sentir y expresar la llama de sentirme completamente viva. Vivo.
And in the 4-day program, we have many other very specific questions for you to work with, so that they're designed specifically to take you into your DNA memory.
Cuando se hace los 4 días, hay muchas más preguntas que se van haciendo para llevar a la persona al estado delta.
And the other important part that you will learn is about the timing.
También aprenderás otra parte muy importante, que es el tiempo.
Thank you for your time today.
Muchísimas gracias.